marginal. Yeah.
Out of bed for less than 3.
To get back to you.
Thank you.
Блядь! That's just right. It's not.
Sir.
But now, yeah, or you can die!
Get down! Get down!
My guy need a gun.
Bullets!
You and me.
Do I look civilized to you?
Yeah. My brother, Wick, is a man. Blade is in your aorta.
The interplay of light will highlight the fragility of our perception, provide new insights into your under the nature of self.
Mio Dio, John. The marker is complete. You know what the Camorra will... No, John. Killing me will stop the contract.
You won't.
I never eat the same meal, Jonathan.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We're not made to live as brutes. Dante
I still have time.
is almost up. It's a lot of money.
Not if you can't spend it.
Enough!
I love it. This will be my gift. This, and I will kill it.
Get it.
Long live the king.
Nice trick. Comunicado.
Lower your gun. Let us begin. Armor piercing. And slowly.
Tapi Don't see any other.
I am the way. You ready, John?
Will ever have freedom? I'm afraid you've come of. Not really.
Hotel. Fine.
Where you came. Go to.
Me too.
Damn, Johnny. But I know you. But it's getting there.
Just so you know.
Now maybe a little bit.
Let's see who picks it up. Well, that's your... You hit my puppy.
Should feed him. Fire! Fire!
Consequences.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst back into the beautifully brutal world of John Wick, specifically Chapter 3, Parabellum. If you thought John caught a break after Chapter 2, you'd be hilariously wrong. This film kicks off literally minutes after the last one ended, with John excommunicado, a staggering $14 million bounty on his head, and about an hour before that goes global. Talk about a bad Monday morning! He's dashing through the neon-soaked chaos of Times Square, looking like a very fashionable, very angry drowned rat, trying to secure whatever supplies he can before every hitman, cleaner, and aspiring amateur assassin decides they want a piece of that bounty. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. John makes his way to the New York Public Library, because where else would a man on the run find solace, right? He's clearly there for some, shall we say, research materials, when he's ambushed by Ernest, a rather large and aggressively polite assassin. Now, most people go to libraries for quiet contemplation. John goes for head trauma. He grabs an incredibly thick, presumably first edition, tome, because who needs a gun when you have literature? And proceeds to demonstrate the destructive power of a good education by smashing Ernest's face in with it. The crack of bone, the muffled grunts, it's a symphony of violence performed amongst the dusty shelves. Ernest learns the hard way that when John Wick is your librarian, you do not talk during quiet hours or ever again. For that matter, after his literary escapade, John's in rough shape, so he heads to a clandestine doctor. You know, the kind that doesn't ask for insurance, just cash your blood oath. He's got a nasty knife wound that needs immediate attention. With the $14 million bounty about to activate, there's no time for proper anesthetic. So, John gets a quick lesson in self-sufficiency, stapling his own shoulder wound shut while the good doctor provides surprisingly calm instructions. The metallic click of the stapler, the sharp intake of breath, it's a grim reminder that even legends feel pain. But hey, at least he's getting his money's worth, right? Who needs a hospital gown when you can just grimace through it? No rest for the weary or the excommunicado, as John discovers when he exits the clinic. To vicious, well-trained attack dogs, sent by another eager bounty hunter, immediately lunge at him. These aren't your average fluffy companions. These are canine killing machines, teeth bared, growling with menacing intent. John, ever the resourceful one, uses the urban environment to his advantage, dodging and weaving, trying to avoid being turned into a chew toy. The frenzy barks and snarls echo through the alley as John narrowly escapes, becoming a very expensive dog treat. It's a reminder that in this world, danger lurks in every shadow, and sometimes it has four legs and a lot of pointy teeth. With the clock ticking, John needs more than staples and good intentions. He visits a gruff, old-school weapons dealer who clearly understands the gravity of John's situation. Muttering about unwinnable odds, John acquires a variety of firearms because you can never have too many ways to express your displeasure, and a rather exquisite custom knife. The metallic click and slide of the weapons being presented, the subtle glint of steel, it's all about preparing for the storm. The dealer, ever the professional, gives him a subtle nod of respect mixed with pity. John's credit is still good, even if his life expectancy isn't looking so hot. John makes a frantic dash to a stable, not for a peaceful ride, but for a high-octane escape plan. He leaps onto a majestic horse, transforming the bustling streets of New York into a Wild West chase scene. Assassins on motorcycles give chase, turning a typical Tuesday into something out of an extreme sports documentary. The thunder of hooves on asphalt, the revving of engines, the chaotic din of city life punctuated by gunfire, it's a beautiful ballet of destruction. John, ever the equestrian, navigates traffic with a grace that defies logic, proving that when you're John Wick, even a horse can be a lethal weapon and an escape vehicle. Seriously, how many people do you know who can ride a horse through rush hour and still look cool doing it? Meanwhile, the adjudicator, a chillingly precise envoy of the high table, begins her rounds. First stop, the Bowery King. She's here to mete out punishment for his transgression of helping John Wick in the previous film. She gives him a chilling ultimatum: resign or face consequences. The Bowery King, ever the defiant one, chooses a third option: bring it on. The adjudicator responds by having 0. A high table enforcer and master assassin slash the Bowery King 7 times with a katana. A painful reminder of his 7 bullets provided to John, the sharp hiss of the blade. The Bowery King's pain grunts. It's a brutal demonstration of the high table's swift and unforgiving justice. Talk about a stern talking to. Next on the adjudicator's punitive tour is the esteemed Winston, manager of the Continental Hotel. She's not here for a check-in. She's here to deliver a stern warning and a demand for his resignation within 7 days for allowing John Wick to break sacred rules on Continental grounds. Winston, ever the stoic and cunning diplomat, listens with an unreadable expression. The subtle tension in the room, the clinking of glasses in the background, underscore the immense pressure. He's been challenged by the highest authority, and his calm demeanor hides a mind already plotting its next move. He's got 7 days to decide if he's going to retire or go out with a bang. John, now officially the world's most wanted man, uses his remaining credits to secure safe passage to Casablanca. He's seeking out an old friend, Sophia, who manages the Moroccan Continental Hotel. It's a journey filled with desperate hope, a long shot in a world where everyone wants him dead. The drone of the plane, the distant sounds of the bustling city as he arrives. It's a moment of brief respite before the inevitable storm. He's hoping that old alliances, forged in blood and loyalty, still hold some sway, even against the high table. Because who better to ask for a favor than an old acquaintance with a penchant for dog training? Upon finding Sophia, John presents her with a blood oath marker, a solemn vow from their past. He explains his predicament, his voice strained with desperation. Sophia, cool and composed, is initially reluctant. She lost a lot because of her past with John, and the high table's wrath is not something to be trifled with. The heavy silence in the room, the weight of their shared history, it's all palpable. She's weighing the cost, the immense danger that comes with helping the Baba Yaga. It's clear that even old friends have their limits, especially when a global bounty is involved. John, seeing Sophia's reluctance, decides a little encouragement is in order. He spots Broader, a crime lord who holds some sway over Sophia, and, without a word, shoots him in the leg. The sharp crack of the gunshot, Broader's yelp of surprise and pain, echoes through the courtyard. This drastic move isn't just about getting information. It's about forcing Sophia's hand, reminding her that John Wick's desperation is a dangerous force. It's a classic John move. When in doubt, shoot someone. It usually works. Sophia is visibly shocked but now understands the level of urgency, and perhaps the futility of refusing him. Broad's compound immediately erupts into a whirlwind of gunfire and barking. John and Sophia, now united by shared danger, fight their way out. This is where Sophia's puppies truly shine. Her 2 loyal Belgian Malinois are incredible combatants, strategically attacking targets, distracting enemies, and taking down henchmen with brutal efficiency. The rapid-fire exchange of bullets, the snarls and bites of the dogs, the yells of Broad's men, it's a symphony of choreographed chaos. John and Sophia move with deadly precision, a well-oiled machine cutting through the enemy ranks, proving that sometimes the best allies have fur and sharp teeth. Seriously, those dogs are better trained than some special forces units. The fight spills into a multi-story glass office, creating a dazzling but deadly environment. Glass shatters with every impact, scattering shards like deadly confetti. John and Sophia work seamlessly together, reloading, covering each other, and unleashing a torrent of gunfire. The sound of breaking glass is almost constant, a percussive backdrop to the relentless combat. They shoot their way through literal glass walls, making a dramatic and visually stunning exit. It's a magnificent display of tactical destruction, turning a corporate space into a work of abstract art with bullets. The sheer number of shattered panes would make any cleaning crew weep. After their explosive escape, Sophia points John in the direction of the Elder, the only person above the high table. This means a grueling, solitary trek across the vast, unforgiving Moroccan desert. John, already severely wounded and exhausted, pushes himself to the brink, driven by sheer will and a desperate hope for a path back into the world. The scorching sun, the endless dunes, the sound of his own ragged breathing. It's a physical and spiritual trial. He walks until he literally collapses, demonstrating that even the legendary Baba Yaga has his limits. You know it's bad when even John Wick looks like he needs a Gatorade and a nap. John is eventually found and brought before the Elder, a figure shrouded in mystery and immense power. Living humbly in a desert tent, John, humbled by his ordeal, kneels before him, seeking a way to reverse his excommunicado status. The Elder, with a calm, ancient wisdom, presents John with an impossible choice: prove his fealty by killing Winston or die. The dry desert wind whistles outside the tent, accentuating the gravity of the Elder's words. It's a moment of profound moral conflict for John, caught between his past and an unimaginable future. To prove his unwavering fealty to the high table, John makes the ultimate sacrifice. He slices off his own ring finger, the one bearing his wedding ring, and presents the ring to the Elder. The visceral snap of the bone, the gush of blood, John's grimace of pain. It's a gut-wrenching moment. This isn't just a physical wound. It's a symbolic severance from his past, from the memory of his wife. He is literally giving up a piece of himself for a chance at survival, proving that even John Wick is willing to pay the highest price. After this agonizing act, he collapses from pain and exhaustion, a broken man who has offered everything. His oath made, John is returned to New York, a ghost of his former self, both literally and figuratively. His hand is heavily bandaged, a constant reminder of the price he paid. The hum of the plane, the familiar skyline of NYC appearing in the distance, it's a return to the very place where his nightmare began. He's back, but he's irrevocably changed, a weapon aimed at his former friend. The weight of his new mission, the betrayal he must commit, hangs heavy in the air, a silent promise of more bloodshed to come. And he probably didn't even get a free bag of peanuts on the flight back. Meanwhile, we meet Zero, a culinary enthusiast and master assassin, and his cadre of highly trained students. They're enjoying sushi, discussing their profound respect for John Wick, almost fanboying over his legendary skills. Zero, with a gleam in his eye, clearly relishes the idea of fighting John, the quiet clinking of chopsticks, the hushed reverence for the Baba Yaga. It's a bizarre mix of admiration and professional rivalry. They're ready to test their skills against the best, even if it means dying gloriously. Because what's a good meal without a little bit of hero worship and impending doom? John's journey through Grand Central Station is quickly interrupted when Zero's students, seemingly everywhere, converge on him. This isn't a gunfight. It's a ballet of blades. Knives flash and glint in the subdued light of the station as John expertly parries and strikes, his movements fluid and precise. The sound of steel on steel, the quick footwork, the gasps of the few onlookers who realize what's happening. It's a breathtaking display of martial prowess. He navigates the bustling station, turning it into his personal combat arena, proving that a sharp piece of metal is just as effective as a bullet in the right hands. You know, just a typical Tuesday commute, the blade fight spills out onto the streets, escalating into a high-speed motorcycle chase. John, now astride a stolen bike, is pursued by Zero's students, who are not only expert riders, but also wield impressive katana swords. The roar of engines, the screech of tires, the clang of steel as John deflects sword strikes with his own bike. It's pure adrenaline-fueled chaos. He's weaving through traffic, using his environment to his advantage, transforming New York into a deadly racetrack. This sequence is a masterclass in vehicular combat, a symphony of speed, steel, and imminent impact. Seriously, someone needs to tell these guys about traffic laws. John, against all odds, makes it back to the Continental, seeking refuge and an audience with Winston. He's battered, bruised, and probably smells faintly of exhaust and fear, but he's alive. Karen, ever the picture of calm professionalism, greets him with a quiet dignity, as if John had just returned from a leisurely stroll, not a citywide massacre. The elegant quiet of the lobby, the soft music, it's a stark contrast to the relentless violence outside. It's a brief, almost surreal moment of peace before the next storm inevitably breaks. And you just know Karen has seen it all. The adjudicator returns to the Continental for Winston's answer. True to his nature, Winston refuses to step down. Effectively declaring war on the high table, he states, with a chilling calmness, that we're taking the Continental back. The silence in the room is deafening, punctuated only by the adjudicator's exasperated sigh. It's a bold, defiant move that sets the stage for an all-out siege. John Wick, witnessing this, knows his forced mission to kill Winston is now obsolete. The air crackles with unspoken threats and the promise of impending devastation. Winston truly understands the art of a dramatic mic drop. With war declared, the Continental transforms from a sanctuary into a fortress. Karen, surprisingly adept with firearms, distributes high-caliber weapons to the hotel staff, who are all apparently highly trained combatants. The elegant lobby becomes a tactical command center, tables overturned, furniture used for cover. The clatter of weapons being loaded, the determined faces of the staff. It's clear this isn't their first rodeo or their first siege, for that matter. John Wick, now allied with Winston, prepares for the fight of his life, defending the one place that still offered him a semblance of home. The service with a smile now includes automatic weaponry. The high tables forces arrive, a specialized unit of heavily armored assassins. They breach the lobby, their heavy footsteps echoing ominously. John, Karen, and the Continental staff unleash a torrent of gunfire. The loud, concussive blasts of their weapons, the dull thud of bullets against the invaders' armor. It's a brutal, relentless onslaught. These guys are practically invulnerable to conventional rounds, forcing John to adapt his tactics. It's a terrifying opening salvo, a testament to the high table's resources and ruthlessness. They basically sent in the SWAT team, but with more style and less read them their rights. John quickly realizes that body shots are useless against these armored foes. He adapts on the fly, switching to precise headshots. The satisfying crack of a bullet piercing a helmet, the sudden collapse of an enemy. It's a quick and decisive shift in strategy. He moves with a deadly fluidity, constantly seeking out the vulnerable spots, turning a seemingly impenetrable defense into a series of fatal weaknesses. The rhythmic succession of precise shots, the clatter of falling bodies, highlights John's legendary ability to assess and overcome overwhelming odds. Always aim for the brain, kids. The battle spills into hallways lined with priceless glass displays and artworks. The constant ping of bullets ricocheting, the dramatic shattering of glass with every hit, transforms the elegant hotel into a chaotic, glittering death trap. John uses the environment to his advantage, maneuvering through the showering shards, ducking behind sculptures, and using them for cover. It's a visually stunning sequence, a ballet of bullets and broken glass, where beauty and destruction collide in spectacular fashion. The damage deposit for this place is going to be astronomical, assuming anyone survives. Karen, the ever-composed concierge, proves he's more than just a pretty face and a perfectly tailored suit. Wielding a shotgun, he becomes a frontline defender, blasting away at the armored forces from behind the reception desk. The thunderous boom of his shotgun, the defiant glint in his eye, shows a man fiercely loyal to his institution and his employer. He moves with an unexpected ferocity, protecting his domain and his staff. It's always the quiet ones, isn't it? He's basically the ultimate customer service representative, even when customer service involves high-caliber weaponry. With the first wave of armored goons dispatched, the high table unleashes its elite, Zero and his students. These are not your average thugs. They're highly trained assassins, more akin to ninjas. They move with an almost supernatural grace, scaling walls and dropping from ceilings, their presence creating a palpable shift in the battle. The air thickens with anticipation as the sounds of gunfire give way to the quieter, more precise movements of blade work and martial arts. John knows he's about to face opponents who genuinely admire him, which, honestly, must be a little awkward when you're trying to kill them. John finds himself in a room full of glass vitrines, battling one of Zero's students. This isn't just a fight, it's a destructive dance. Bodies crash into glass cases, sending shards flying, revealing ancient artifacts and priceless art beneath. The grunt of exertion, the crisp impact of a punch, the constant shatter of glass, it's a dazzling display of close-quarters combat. John, ever the pragmatist, uses the environment, weaponizing everything from display stands to his own fists. It's a fight born of respect, yet executed with lethal precision. Each combatant pushing the other to their absolute limits amidst a rain of broken art. The fight continues into a room that's essentially a hall of mirrors, creating a disorienting and treacherous battleground. John struggles to track his opponent, every reflection a potential trick, every movement multiplied. The frantic glances, the quick pivots, the confusion in John's eyes, it's a brilliant piece of choreography that uses the environment to amplify the tension. He's battling not just a skilled assassin, but his own perceptions. The only way to win in a hall of mirrors? Break all the mirrors, which, of course, John proceeds to do with extreme prejudice, turning the illusion into deadly shrapnel. Just when you think John might catch a breath, two more students ambush him on a magnificent marble staircase. It's a brutal, acrobatic descent, with John fighting uphill against formidable opponents. The thud of bodies on stone, the quick, sharp movements of their blades, it's a relentless struggle. John somehow maintains his footing and his offensive, parrying and striking with unbelievable dexterity. He slides down railings, uses the stairs for leverage, turning the elegant architecture into a dynamic combat zone. Seriously, these guys are like a human centipede of violence, always coming at him. Finally, the master himself, Zero, makes his grand entrance. He watches from a balcony, a calm, almost predatory smile on his face. Before leaping down to engage John, there's a strange reverence in his voice as he taunts John, a mix of admiration and a desire to prove himself superior. He even tells John he's a huge fan. The shift in energy is immediate. John knows he's now facing someone on his level, someone who understands his moves, and probably has a scrapbook full of them. This isn't just another kill. It's a high-stakes duel between two legends. The tension in the air is thick enough to cut with a katana. The duel between John and Zero is a breathtaking display of martial artistry. Their katanas clash with a metallic clang, movements so fast, they're almost a blur. This isn't just about brute force. It's about precision, anticipation, and lightning-fast reflexes. The controlled breathing, the subtle shifts in stance, the dangerous dance of death. Every strike is calculated, every parry perfectly timed. They're evenly matched, two masters testing each other's limits. It's the kind of fight where you barely dare to blink, lest you miss a critical move. And let's be honest, we're all a little jealous of their sword skills amidst the ongoing chaos. Winston orchestrates a meeting on the Continental rooftop with the Adjudicator and John Wick. Winston attempts to negotiate, presenting a tactical retreat and offering the Continental back to the high table. He argues that by allowing John to live, he was simply demonstrating the Continental's enduring purpose, providing a necessary service in this underworld. The high winds whipping around them, the city skyline stretching into the distance, it's a tense, high-stakes negotiation where lives and the fate of the Continental hang in the balance. Winston is playing chess, and everyone else is just playing checkers. As the Adjudicator watches, Winston makes a shocking move. He shoots John Wick, sending him plummeting from the Continental's rooftop. The sharp crack of the gunshot, John's stunned expression, the sickening rush of air as he falls. It's a moment of profound betrayal. Was it a genuine act of fealty to the high table, or part of a larger, more intricate plan? The uncertainty leaves everyone, including John, reeling. He crashes through awnings and scaffolding, finally landing with a bone-jarring thud in the alley below. leaving us to wonder if this is finally the end for the Baba Yaga. Spoiler alert, it's not. Miraculously, John Wick isn't dead. He's found by the Bowery King's men, who carefully transport his broken body to the king's underground lair. The Bowery King, still recovering from his 7 slashes, looks at John with a knowing smirk. He's furious at the High Table and, despite John's condition, offers him an alliance, a chance for revenge. The low grunts of pain from both men, the metallic taste of vengeance in the air, it sets the stage for the next chapter. It's clear that the High Table severely underestimated the power of friendship, or, in this case, mutually assured destruction. And just like that, a new alliance is forged in the fires of shared fury. The Bowery King, battered but unbroken, leans over John, asking the million-dollar question, "Are you pissed?" John, with a guttural growl, confirms it. The roar of the subway cars above, the flickering lights of the lair, underscore the raw and tamed fury boiling within John. He's been betrayed, pushed to his limits, and suffered unimaginable loss. The film ends not with a whimper, but with the quiet promise of an absolute storm. John Wick, the man who just wanted to be left alone, is now unequivocally back, and he's bringing all hell with him. This entire journey has been a relentless ballet of bullets, blades, and sheer willpower, showcasing a protagonist who just refuses to stay down, no matter the odds. It's a testament to resilience, an ode to the human and canine spirit, and a masterclass in action cinema. As we reflect on John's journey, we see not just a killer, but a man driven by love, loyalty, and a fierce desire to control his own destiny against an oppressive system. It reminds us that even when facing overwhelming forces, the individual spirit, when pushed to its limits, can forge a new path, however bloody. The pursuit of justice, or perhaps just peace, often requires us to stand against impossible odds and choose our battles wisely, even if it means starting a whole new war. It's a powerful narrative about finding your fight and embracing your purpose, even when the world is literally trying to take it all away. What a ride! Then we're diving headfirst into the stylish, brutal, and undeniably cool world of John Wick, Chapter 4, the latest installment in the saga of the man, the myth, the legendary dog lover himself. This movie really cranks up the action to 11, giving us more breathtaking choreography, more unexpected allies, and more reasons to question why anyone would ever cross this guy. It's a non-stop thrill ride from start to finish. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. We kick things off with John Wick, still technically excommunicado and looking quite worse for wear, as he's dragged across the Moroccan desert. He's seeking out the Elder, the mysterious figure who sits above the High Table, presumably to negotiate his way out of this whole worldwide bounty situation. The Elder, perched in his desert stronghold, informs John that peace and freedom only come through death. Essentially, the only way out is to die or pledge your undying loyalty, which John, being John, isn't exactly keen on. Our favorite Baba Yaga responds by, well, offing the Elder's interpreter right then and there. Because why not? John then makes his displeasure known by executing the Elder himself. No more cryptic desert meetings, apparently. After this rather definitive statement, John is seen recuperating and training. He's back in his underground sanctuary, doing some intense martial arts drills and pummeling what looks like a thick, braided rope with devastating force, clearly getting back into fighting shape. The thudding impacts of his fists against the rope echo, a stark reminder that even after all this, John Wick is far from finished. He's healing, he's rebuilding, and he's clearly not giving up the ghost just yet. Meanwhile, back in New York, the repercussions of John's earlier actions are still very much in play. The High Table, clearly tired of John's shenanigans, has appointed a new, deliciously arrogant villain to deal with the John Wick problem. Enter the Marquis Vincent Bissett de Gramont, a man who, much like a certain fictional detective, enjoys having absolute power. He's arrived to remind everyone, especially Winston, who's really in charge. Winston, ever the stoic, is stripped of his managerial duties at the New York Continental Hotel. The Marquis then, in a rather dramatic display of authority, decides to literally demolish the hotel. We see the iconic building crumbling, the sound of explosions ripping through the air, sending debris flying. It's a stark visual of the Marquis' power and a pretty clear message to anyone who dares defy the high table. Your fancy hotels are not safe. The Marquis also declares that whoever kills John Wick will be granted a seat at the high table, effectively putting the biggest bounty imaginable on our hero's head. The stakes, my friends, just got a whole lot higher. Winston, witnessing the destruction of his beloved establishment, maintains a poker face, but you can practically hear the gears turning in his head. He's a man who understands the rules of the game better than anyone, and he knows that to defeat a monster, you sometimes have to play by its rules, or break them entirely. His longtime concierge, Karen, is also caught in the Marquis' brutal power play. In a truly gut-wrenching moment, the Marquis executes Karen right in front of Winston, a deafening gunshot echoing through the empty shell of the Continental. This act, more than any other, solidifies the Marquis as a truly ruthless adversary and deepens Winston's resolve. The loss of Karen, a loyal and unwavering friend, is a heavy blow, and Winston's quiet grief speaks volumes. It's clear that this isn't just about John anymore. It's deeply personal for Winston to dot with the high table breathing down his neck and a global bounty on his head that would make most supervillains blush. John does what he does best. He finds another Continental. This time, he heads to the stunning Osaka Continental, a place that looks like it's pulled straight from a samurai epic. The aesthetics alone are worth the trip. He's there to seek sanctuary with his old friend, Koji Shimazu, the manager of this particular haven. Koji, a man of honor and impressive combat skills, welcomes John, albeit with a heavy heart, knowing full well the trouble John brings. We see the quiet respect between these two veterans, a friendship forged in a world most of us can barely comprehend. Koji's daughter, Akira, is the concierge, and she's not just a pretty face behind a desk. She's sharp, observant, and clearly inherits her father's warrior spirit. The soft, ambient music of the hotel contrasts sharply with the storm brewing outside its walls. The air is thick with anticipation, almost humming with the unspoken knowledge that this peace won't last. John tries to convince Koji to ignore the high table's decree, but Koji, ever the loyalist to old friendships, refuses to abandon John. This commitment, noble as it is, inadvertently paints a target on the entire Osaka Continental. The calm before the storm here is almost palpable, a tense quiet punctuated by the rustle of traditional Japanese attire and the gentle clinking of glasses. It's the kind of place you'd want to retire to if, you weren't constantly fighting for your life. Well, you knew this tranquil moment couldn't last, right? Because nothing gold can stay, especially when John Wick is involved. The Marquis, proving he's not one to waste time, descends upon the Osaka Continental with an entire regiment of high-table soldiers, all heavily armed and looking about as friendly as a tax audit. The Marquis, dressed impeccably, makes a grand entrance radiating an aura of absolute authority. He confronts Koji, demanding John Wick's immediate surrender. The tension in the room is so thick you could cut it with a katana. Koji, true to his honorable nature, absolutely refuses to betray his friend. He declares that the Continental is neutral ground and will not hand over a guest. The Marquis, clearly annoyed by this display of old-world ethics, draws a line in the sand. He declares the Osaka Continental deconsecrated, effectively revoking its neutral status and giving his forces carte blanche to clean house. This is the moment where the quiet hum turns into a low, ominous growl. The Marquis' casual arrogance, even as he's about to unleash utter chaos, is truly something to behold. The high-table forces, clad in tactical gear, take up positions, their weapons glinting under the elegant lighting of the hotel. The air crackles with anticipation, and the audience knows, deep in their bones, that a storm is about to break loose. Koji, standing firm, simply tells John to prepare, which, in John Wick's world, means grabbing every weapon you can find and getting ready for a dance party where everyone's trying to put holes in each other. And just like that, The elegant halls of the Osaka Continental are transformed into a war zone. The sound of shattered glass and rapid gunfire instantly shatters the peace. High-table assassins, a seemingly endless wave of them, flood into the hotel. John, Koji, and Akira immediately spring into action, each displaying their unique and deadly combat styles. The initial wave is met with a flurry of precise strikes, agile dodges, and the cold efficiency of John's pistol. We see John using everything around him as a weapon, a testament to his adaptability. A sword, a small knife, even a piece of furniture becomes an extension of his will. The fighting is intense, a dizzying ballet of violence that's expertly choreographed. Koji, wielding a traditional katana, moves with the grace and precision of a seasoned samurai, his blade slicing through the air with a deadly whisper. Akira, surprisingly effective, uses bows and arrows, her shots hitting with pinpoint accuracy, turning the elegant hotel decor into a tactical advantage, especially when sending arrows flying through unsuspecting attackers. The clanging of swords, the sharp cracks of gunshots, and the guttural shouts of the combatants create a cacophony of chaos. The high-table forces are numerous, relentless, and well-trained, but they clearly underestimate the combined might of our three heroes. It's a beautifully shot sequence, with the vibrant Japanese aesthetic providing a stunning backdrop to the carnage. This isn't just a fight, it's an art form, albeit a very violent one. Just when you think John Wick couldn't get any cooler, he pulls out a pair of nunchaku. Yes, nunchaku. And it's not just a prop. He uses them with an almost supernatural dexterity, the whoosh and thwack sounds of the weapon echoing as he disarms and dispatches multiple attackers with fluid, devastating strikes. It's a masterclass in weapon-based martial arts, and honestly, if I tried that, I'd probably just knock myself out. The choreography here is just insane, a whirlwind of spinning wood and bone-shattering impacts. Meanwhile, the plot thickens with the arrival of Kane, a blind assassin played by the incredibly charismatic Donnie Yen. He's working for the high table against his will, forced into this position because they're holding his daughter hostage. His entrance is marked by a quiet, almost melancholic air, contrasting sharply with the mayhem around him. He's blind, yes, but don't let that fool you. He uses his other senses to terrifying effect, navigating the battlefield with a chilling precision. You hear the subtle tap-tap of his cane as he moves, a prelude to the deadly dance he's about to perform. He's clearly not happy about being there, but his resolve to protect his daughter is stronger than any friendship or loyalty. It's a tragic setup, watching a master assassin forced to fight his friends, the metallic clang of his blade a constant reminder of his impossible dilemma. His rival adds a layer of emotional complexity to the already intense battle, making you wonder just how this is all going to play out. The Osaka Continental has gone from swanky hotel to a full-blown arena of doom. The battle rages on, but the spotlight momentarily shifts to a truly heartbreaking encounter. Koji versus Kane. These two are old friends, men who once shared a bond of respect, but now they are on opposite sides of a brutal conflict, a direct result of the high table's merciless grip. Their fight is not just a clash of blades. It's a clash of loyalties and a testament to the impossible choices these characters are forced to make. The shing of their swords meeting echoes through the ornate Japanese garden, a somber melody to their duel. Koji, with his traditional katana, fights with fierce honor, defending his hotel, and his friend, John, Kane, despite his blindness, moves with an almost supernatural agility, his senses compensating for his lack of sight. You hear the subtle whoosh of air as he dodges, and the precise clink of his blade finding Koji's. He fights with a quiet reluctance, but his precision is undeniable. Every parry, every thrust is executed with a heavy heart, yet with unwavering skill, driven by the desperate need to protect his daughter. While Koji and Kane engage in their personal tragedy, John Wick is still very much in the thick of it, a one-man army carving a path through the seemingly endless ranks of high-table soldiers. He uses every weapon imaginable, from guns to axes, dispatching foes with his signature efficiency. The sound of breaking bones and the impactful thuds of his strikes are relentless. The contrast between the personal, almost intimate duel between Koji and Kane, and the widespread, chaotic gunfu of John Wick makes this sequence incredibly dynamic. It's a poignant reminder that in this world, friendship often comes second to survival, especially when family is on the line. The stakes aren't just about John's freedom. They're about the souls of men like Kane. The duel between Koji and Kane reaches its tragic conclusion. Despite his valiant efforts, Koji is gravely wounded. The clatter of his dropped katana signals his impending defeat, but even as he falls, he maintains his honor. His final moments are spent trying to buy John and Akira precious time to escape, a true testament to his unwavering loyalty and sense of duty. Kane, with a heavy heart, delivers the killing blow, a silent, almost regretful thud marking the end of their friendship. It's a powerful scene, drenched in sorrow, as Kane's face betrays his internal conflict, even as he completes his grim task. This isn't a victory for him. It's another soul-crushing sacrifice forced upon him by the High Table. Akira, witnessing her father's death from afar, is consumed by a cold fury. Her eyes, usually so sharp and focused, now burn with a fierce desire for vengeance. She lets out a primal scream of grief and rage, a sound that chills you to the bone. She makes a silent, yet undeniably clear vow of revenge against Kane. The seeds of a future conflict are firmly planted, and you just know this isn't the last we'll see of Akira. John, ever the pragmatist, knows he can't save everyone, but he respects the sacrifices made for him. He and Akira manage to escape the burning ruins of the Osaka Continental, a symbol of their defiance, now reduced to ash and rubble. The silence after Koji's death is almost deafening, momentarily replacing the cacophony of battle, underscoring the profound loss. It's a grim reminder of the cost of John Wick's freedom, a toll paid in blood and lost friendships. Back in New York, we find Winston, bandaged but very much alive, having somehow survived being shot and falling from his now demolished hotel. Turns out, falling from a great height is just a minor inconvenience for these characters. He's plotting with the Bowery King, another survivor of the High Table's wrath. They're both nursing grudges and seeing a strategic opportunity in John Wick's unending rampage. Winston, with his usual measured tone, reveals a little-known loophole in High Table law, the right of single combat. If John Wick can formally challenge the Marquis to a duel and win, he would be free from the High Table's grasp. This is a massive revelation, a glimmer of hope in John's seemingly endless war. However, to earn this right, John needs to be reinstated into a crime family, a pretty big hurdle considering his current excommunicado status. The conversation between Winston and the Bowery King is filled with dry wit and tactical maneuvering, to master chess players discussing their next move against a common, supremely annoying enemy. Meanwhile, John Wick is on a new mission, Berlin. He needs to get back in with the Ruska Roma crime syndicate, a group he was once a part of. To do this, he has to take out a high-ranking member who's become a bit of a liability to the High Table, the personal affront to the Ruska Roma, a portly, flamboyant German gangster named Killa. The pulsating beat of Berlin's underground scene begins to underscore John's journey. It's a classic setup, an impossible task for an impossible man, all to buy a chance at freedom. The stakes are getting incredibly personal for everyone involved, pushing them towards a high-stakes duel that will determine the fate of not just John, but potentially the entire underworld. As John navigates the neon-soaked underworld of Berlin, a new player enters the game, a mysterious, unnamed tracker, accompanied by a fiercely loyal Belgian Malinois. This guy isn't just following John for the bounty. He's observing, calculating, and seems to have his own set of rules. He's like a quiet storm, always present, but never truly seen until he needs to be. His dog is, naturally, an absolute unit, already displaying impressive combat skills, because in the John Wick universe, even the pets are elite assassins. The soft pat of the dog's paws and the click of the tracker's binoculars are the only sounds indicating their presence. John's target, Killa, is precisely the kind of over-the-top character you'd expect in a John Wick movie. He runs a massive, multi-level nightclub that's more like a fortress, complete with waterfalls, thumping techno music, and an army of heavily armed bodyguards. The club is a sensory overload, a kaleidoscope of flashing lights and booming bass that vibrates through your chest, the kind of place where a normal conversation is impossible. Which is probably how Killa likes it. John first meets a cousin from the Rusker Roma, Katia, who initially refuses to help him. She correctly points out that John essentially defected by leaving them. However, John's relentless pursuit of Killa, the man who murdered her father, is the key to her assistance. It's a subtle nod to the complexities of loyalty and family in this world. The stage is set for another spectacular action sequence as John prepares to crash Killa's party, armed with nothing but his wits, his guns, and an unshakable resolve. The anticipation for the chaos about to erupt is almost palpable, a crescendo building amidst the thumping music. And then, the club goes from a party to a massacre in record time. John Wick, ever the master of stealth when he wants to be, infiltrates Killa's extravagant nightclub. He moves through the gyrating bodies on the dance floor like a phantom, his silenced pistol making quiet PFFFT sounds as he takes down unsuspecting bodyguards amidst the deafening techno music. It's a beautifully executed sequence where the sound design plays a crucial role. The thumping bass almost drowns out the deadly efficiency of John's movements and shots. He uses the environment to his advantage, blending into the crowd, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. The clink of spent casings hitting the floor is often the only audible sign of his presence, a grim counterpoint to the pulsating music. The bouncers and security guards, despite their numbers, are no match for John's calculated brutality. He's not just fighting, he's systematically dismantling Killa's operation, one headshot at a time. The fight choreography is once again breathtaking, a rapid-fire succession of close-quarters combat, swift disarms, and precise executions. John isn't just surviving. He's absolutely thriving in the chaos, a Grim Reaper in a custom suit. The sheer scale of the club means John has to fight his way through multiple levels, each filled with more desperate goons eager to claim the bounty on his head. It's a relentless onslaught, a true test of endurance, and John Wick proves yet again that he's in a league of his own. The flashing strobe lights turn the action into a hypnotic, deadly dance, a ballet of bullets and broken bodies. This is why we watch these movies, people. After wading through what feels like an entire small army, John finally reaches Killa, who, surprisingly, is not just a loudmouth, but also quite the formidable fighter in his own right. Their confrontation is less of a graceful duel and more of a brutal, messy brawl. Killa is big, surprisingly agile for his size, and certainly not afraid to get dirty. The thudding sounds of their punches and kicks connecting are visceral, each impact carrying the weight of their desperation. John, never one to shy away from a good beating, is forced to use every trick in his book to combat Killa's unpredictable style. The fight takes them across the VIP area, smashing through tables, sending expensive drinks flying, and generally ruining everyone's night out. It's close quarters, gritty, and utterly exhausting to watch. In a particularly gnarly moment, John slams Killa's head repeatedly onto a table, the crack of wood and the squelch of impact making you wince. Then, in a rather dramatic turn of events, their struggle leads them to a high balcony overlooking the main dance floor. With a final, desperate shove, both men tumble over the edge, plummeting several stories down onto a lower level. The crash of their impact is deafening, a symphony of broken glass and twisted metal, leaving you wondering how anyone could possibly survive that. Killa, unfortunately for him, takes the brunt of the fall, landing in a crumpled heap, clearly worse for wear. John, being John, bounces back quicker than a rubber ball, albeit with some visible discomfort. The sheer audacity of these falls is classic Wick gravity. It seems is merely a suggestion for our hero, Killa, somehow still clinging to life despite multiple falls and being used as a human bowling ball. Attempts a desperate escape through a multi-tiered staircase. But John Wick is relentless. He pursues Killa using the staircase itself as a weapon, forcing the portly gangster to tumble down a series of steps, crashing through each landing with a resounding thud until he's a mangled mess at the bottom. It's a brutal, drawn-out demise, showcasing John's unwavering focus on his objective. Just when Killer seems truly finished, the tracker's dog, because this movie needs more awesome dogs, enters the fray. The loyal Malinois, without hesitation, leaps onto the injured Killer, savagely biting at him, ensuring he's utterly incapacitated. The dog's fierce growls and the snapping sound of its jaws are intensely effective. This is a dog that definitely earned its treats. John, now assured of Killer's demise, collects the proof he needs, Killer's gold teeth, a rather gruesome but undeniably effective form of identification in this world. The clink of the gold teeth as John pockets them is a chilling sound. With Killer eliminated, John has fulfilled his end of the bargain with Katia and the Rusker Roma, earning his reinstatement. This is a crucial step towards securing his right to challenge the Marquis to single combat. The scene wraps up the intense Berlin sequence, leaving John battered but victorious and audiences cheering for the dog. Because, let's be honest, the dog is the unsung hero of this franchise. Always there to provide some much-needed backup and an adorable head tilt, while John is busy rearranging Killer's anatomy. The Marquis is consolidating his already immense power. We see him in meetings with other High Table members, his pronouncements becoming increasingly bold and his authority unquestioned. He's not just calling the shots. He's essentially rewriting the rules, making himself the sole arbiter of justice and punishment. His disdain for John Wick is palpable, almost a personal vendetta, and he elevates the bounty on John's head to unprecedented levels, making him the most wanted man in history. This ratchets up the tension even further, ensuring that every shadowy corner of the globe is now crawling with assassins eager to claim the prize. Meanwhile, John, having delivered Killer's gold teeth, is formally reinstated into the Rusker Roma syndicate. This involves a rather painful ritual, a symbolic branding that seals his return to the family. The sizzle and smell of burning flesh, though not explicitly shown, is implied, adding a visceral layer to this pivotal moment. It's a quiet but significant scene, demonstrating John's willingness to endure anything for a chance at freedom. With his reinstatement, John now officially has the standing to challenge the Marquis to single combat under the High Table's ancient laws. The stage is finally set for the ultimate showdown. The High Table, usually a bastion of ancient tradition, is being bent to the Marquis' will, a clear sign that this new antagonist is not to be trifled with. The slow, deliberate movements of the High Table ceremony contrast with the brutal, fast-paced action John has just endured, highlighting the two very different worlds colliding around him. It's a classic case of if you want something done right, you gotta go through a lot of pain first the moment of truth arrives. Winston, now officially reinstated as manager of the New York Continental because, let's be real, he's basically unkillable. And John Wick meet with the Harbinger, the official adjudicator of High Table duels. The Harbinger is a character draped in gravitas, his voice resonating with the weight of centuries of tradition. He confirms that the challenge has been accepted, and the terms are laid out: a duel at sunrise, pistols at 20 paces. At Sacré-Cœur in Paris, the air in the room is thick with anticipation, the quiet solemnity broken only by the Harbinger's clear, unwavering pronouncements. The terms are incredibly strict, a life-or-death gamble with no room for error. The Marquis, in a move that screams overconfident villain, chooses Kane to fight for him in the duel. This is a masterstroke of cruelty, forcing Kane to once again confront a friend, but this time with even higher stakes. If Kane refuses, his daughter dies. If Kane loses, she also dies. It's a truly no-win scenario for him, and you can practically feel the despair radiating from him, even through his blind composure. Winston, ever the strategist, makes a crucial demand. If John wins, the High Table must grant him his freedom and rebuild the New York Continental. The Marquis, confident in his victory, foolishly agrees. This reveals a crack in his otherwise impenetrable facade of control. The stakes are now astronomical: John's life, Winston's hotel, and Kane's daughter. The clink of the Harbinger's official seal being stamped on the document marks the point of no return. John Wick has gone from trying to escape the High Table to forcing them to play by his rules, or at least their own very old rules. The weight of this decision hangs heavy in the air, a silent promise of the epic confrontation to come. With the duel set for sunrise, John has a mere few hours to make it to Saker. But because this is John Wick, it's never a simple taxi ride. The Marquis, ever the cheat, places an unprecedented bounty on John for the final hours, effectively turning all of Paris into a death trap. Every assassin, bounty hunter, and wannabe hitman is out for his head. The thump-thump of his hurried footsteps echoes through the early morning streets. The journey takes him to the iconic Arc de Triomphe, which, on any other day, is a chaotic traffic circle. Today, it's an absolute war zone. John is immediately ambushed by waves of assassins, all converging on him from every direction. The soundscape here is incredible. The screech of tires, the incessant blare of car horns, the crump of metal on metal, and the constant rat-a-tat-tat of automatic gunfire create a symphony of destruction. John, in an utterly insane and visually spectacular sequence, uses the heavy Parisian traffic as both cover and a weapon. He dodges speeding cars, dives across hoods, and even uses moving vehicles to slam into his attackers. It's a dizzying ballet of bullets, high-speed collisions, and precision gun-fu. He's weaving through traffic like a deadly, leather-clad ghost, his movements almost superhuman. The clang of bullets ricocheting off car doors and the shatter of windows are constant companions to the action. It's a true test of his resourcefulness and resilience, showcasing his ability to turn any environment into his personal kill box. You can't help but marvel at the sheer creativity of the choreography. It's a sequence that makes you wonder how the stunt team ever pulled it off, and more importantly, how John Wick still has any bones left. The Arc de Triomphe sequence escalates into pure, unadulterated chaos. John, resourceful as ever, rips a car door off a vehicle and uses it as a mobile shield, blocking incoming bullets with a resounding clang before using it to bash an attacker, all while firing his pistol with pinpoint accuracy. It's a move so audacious, so ridiculously cool, that you can't help but grin. The sheer number of assassins is overwhelming, a relentless tide that threatens to drown him. The constant whiz of bullets passing his head and the thud of bodies hitting the pavement are a grim rhythm. Then, in a genuinely surprising turn of events, Kane appears. Yes, the very man forced to duel John, now momentarily fighting alongside him. He's still dressed impeccably, his cane tapping out a deadly beat as he cuts down high-table enforcers with his sword, his blind fighting style making him seem almost ethereal. The swish of his blade is as deadly as John's gunfire. It's not an alliance of friendship, but one of necessity, a temporary truce forced by the common enemy, which in this case is everyone else. Kane, seeing an opportunity to thin the herd before his personal duel, helps John clear a path, demonstrating his unparalleled skill even in the most disorienting environment. This reluctant partnership is a highlight, showcasing the complicated loyalties and brutal realities of their world. The scene is a masterclass in controlled pandemonium, with the iconic Parisian landmark serving as a breathtaking backdrop to the ballet of destruction. The choreography in this entire sequence is just jaw-dropping, making every punch, every shot, every car crash feel impactful and real. You almost feel the wind from the passing cars and the concussive force of the gunshots. As John pushes through the gauntlet, he encounters the Marquis' personal elite guards, who are a cut above the rest. These aren't your average goons. They're faster, more coordinated, and clearly trained for this specific kind of chaotic urban warfare. Their black suits make them blend into the shadows, only revealing themselves when they're upon John, their silent movements a stark contrast to the surrounding noise. The whoosh of their precise strikes and the clatter of their specialized weapons add to the tension. John, already battered and bruised, has to dig even deeper to fend off these formidable opponents. Just when things look their bleakest, when John is cornered and seemingly out of options, the mysterious tracker makes his move. From a vantage point on a nearby rooftop, the tracker unleashes his incredible dog. The dog, a free missile of pure destruction, leaps down and attacks John's assailants with ferocious growls and biting accuracy, saving John from certain death. The snapping jaws and the yips of the dog as it engages are incredibly effective, a welcome interruption to the human-on-human violence. The tracker isn't just a bounty hunter. He's observing, calculating, and seemingly has his own agenda, his actions driven by more than just money. He then provides a precise, long-range shot with his rifle, taking out a key threat, the crack of the shot cutting through the urban din. This subtle intervention shifts the dynamic, revealing that not everyone is strictly aligned with the high table or simply after the bounty. The tracker's presence adds another layer of intrigue, hinting at a wider game being played. It's a moment where a character who seemed antagonistic suddenly becomes an unexpected, if temporary, ally, keeping the audience on their toes, with time ticking down to sunrise. John Wick, looking utterly exhausted but still driven, begins his final, brutal climb to Saga. And oh boy, is it a climb! We're talking about the famous 222 steps leading up to the Basilica, which on a normal day would be a workout, but for John Wick, it's a gauntlet of death. The thump-thump of his heavy boots on the stone steps sounds like a funeral drum. Every single step is contested by a fresh wave of assassins, all eager to claim the final, massive bounty. This isn't just a fight. It's a literal uphill battle, a relentless surge against an impossible tide. The choreography here is insane. John is constantly fighting, falling, rolling, and then immediately getting back up to fight some more. The crack of punches, the bang of gunshots, and the clatter of bodies tumbling down the long stairs create a chaotic symphony of violence. He's using gravity, momentum, and sheer willpower to keep moving forward. The exhaustion is palpable, visible in his ragged breathing and strained movements, yet his resolve remains unbreakable. The goldener light of the approaching dawn bathes the scene in a beautiful, almost ethereal glow, providing a stark contrast to the brutal reality unfolding on the steps. It's a visually stunning sequence that highlights John's resilience and his seemingly endless capacity for pain. The sheer scale of the ambush is overwhelming. It feels like the entire city has turned against him. This sequence is designed to push John and the audience to their absolute limits, making the eventual duel feel earned. You feel every single step and every single blow as John fights his way toward what he hopes is his final freedom. Just when you think John has almost made it to the top. In a moment that literally made me gasp, he's kicked down the entire length of the 222 steps. The thump-thump-thump of his body tumbling down, each impact a painful reminder of his relentless struggle, is absolutely brutal to watch. He hits every single step on the way down, a seemingly endless cascade of pain and broken dignity. It's a visual metaphor for his entire journey, constantly being knocked down, but refusing to stay down. The crash at the bottom of the stairs echoes the exhaustion you feel just watching him. But John Wick, being John Wick, doesn't stay down for long. With the first rays of dawn painting the Parisian sky, he slowly, painstakingly begins his ascent again. This time, he's even more desperate, driven by the rapidly diminishing time and the promise of a final solution. The tracker and his incredible dog reappear, offering a brief moment of unexpected assistance. The dog, ever loyal, attacks more assassins, its fierce barks and snapping jaws clearing a path, giving John a crucial window. The tracker himself, with a focused intensity, helps John bypass some of the immediate threats, a quiet acknowledgement of the larger stakes at play. It's a testament to the strange alliances formed in this underworld. John, bleeding and battered, finally reaches the top of the steps, collapsing just shy of the entrance to Saga. His ragged breaths are loud in the morning air, and you can practically taste the dust and exhaustion. The sun is now fully breaking over the horizon, casting long shadows and signaling the official start of the duel. He's made it, but just barely, his body screaming in protest with every strained movement. It's a powerful visual of a man pushed to his absolute limits, yet refusing to break. Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. John Wick and Kane stand opposite each other, silhouetted against the rising sun on the steps of Saga. The setting is absolutely breathtaking, a serene and beautiful backdrop for what is about to be a deadly dance. The Harbinger, ever the master of ceremonies, officiates the duel, clearly and precisely outlining the ancient rules. It's pistols at 20 paces, each man gets 3 shots, and whoever is left standing wins. Simple, brutal, and utterly final. The click of their pistols being cocked fills the quiet morning air, a stark contrast to the distant city sounds. The tension is almost unbearable, a palpable energy humming between the two men. They are both consummate professionals, but their shared history and reluctant respect add a layer of tragic depth to this encounter. This isn't a fight fueled by hate, but by desperate circumstance. The first shots are fired simultaneously. The deafening bang of the pistols cracks through the morning stillness, echoing across the plaza. John and Kane both fire, their shots landing with brutal precision. John takes a hit to the shoulder, a dull thud of impact that makes him wince, but he remains standing, his resolve unwavering. Kane, despite his blindness, fires with an unnerving accuracy, guided by his other heightened senses. The air is thick with gun smoke, a haze that momentarily obscures the duelists. The gravity of the situation is clear. One of them will not walk away from this, and both know it. It's a standoff of legendary proportions, a high noon moment under Parisian skies. The second round begins, and the stakes climb even higher. Again, the bang of the pistols rips through the silence, and both men fire. Kane, with his almost superhuman hearing and spatial awareness, lands another precise shot on John, this time in the abdomen. The guttural grunt of pain John emits is raw and real. He's taking significant damage, his movements becoming more labored, his breathing shallower. Yet he still stands, defiance burning in his eyes. The Marquis, observing from his safe distance, clearly enjoys John's suffering, a smug smirk plastered across his face. He's loving every second of John being systematically broken. The third round commences, and John, now visibly weakened, struggles to raise his arm. He fires his pistol, but his aim is off. The bullet whizzing past Kane, however, is as precise as ever. Landing a third shot squarely on John, the impact sends John Wick stumbling backward, his body finally giving out as he collapses onto the stone steps. The sound of his body hitting the ground is heavy, final, and heart-wrenching. The Marquis, confident in his victory, lets out a triumphant, almost theatrical laugh. He believes he has finally defeated the Baba Yaga, finally broken the unbreakable man. This is the moment where the villain truly believes he has won, a classic setup for the inevitable twist. The dramatic tension is almost unbearable, making you wonder how John could possibly recover from this brutal onslaught. It looks like the end, doesn't it? But we know John Wick. He's not one to go down without a surprise up his sleeve. Usually a very sharp, very painful surprise for his enemies. In a display of truly epic villainous arrogance, the Marquis steps forward, fully believing he has won. He demands to deliver the final, killing blow himself, taking the pistol from Kane. "Oh, Marquis, you absolute fool." This is precisely the kind of move that gets villains in trouble in movies. He saunters up to John, who is lying on the ground, seemingly defeated, his body barely twitching. The Marquis positions himself, savoring the moment, ready to end the legend. But here's the kicker, the classic John Wick twist. John never fired his fourth shot. The Harbinger, in his initial recitation of the rules, specified 3 shots each. The Marquis, blinded by his hubris and confident in Kane's performance, didn't pay attention. As the Marquis raises the pistol for the kill, John Wick, with a supreme effort, slowly, agonizingly raises his own pistol, which has 1 bullet remaining. The click of his hammer being cocked is barely audible, but it's there, a final, chilling note of defiance. The Marquis, caught completely off guard, looks at John with a sudden, dawning horror in his eyes. He realizes his fatal mistake far too late. The bang of John's pistol is deafening, a final, resonant blast that cuts through the morning air. The Marquis takes a bullet straight to the head, a perfectly aimed shot that ends his reign of terror instantly. The thud of his body hitting the ground is almost anticlimactic after all the buildup, but utterly satisfying. It's a brilliant reversal, showcasing John's strategic thinking even when at death's door. John Wick, ladies and gentlemen, always has a plan, and usually it involves a lot of pain for his enemies. The stunned silence that follows the shot speaks volumes. With the Marquis dead, John Wick is officially free. The High Table's decree is lifted, his bounty is cancelled, and the Continental is rebuilt. But victory comes at a cost. John, gravely wounded from the duel and the earlier battles, sits on the steps of Saga, watching the sunrise. His breathing is shallow, his strength fading. The sigh of the morning breeze and the distant sounds of the city seem to be a gentle lullaby to his final moments. He speaks of Helen, his beloved wife. Her name is soft whisper on his lips, a reminder of the peace he fought so desperately to regain. It's a beautiful, melancholic end to his journey, a quiet moment of peace after years of relentless violence. He dies on those steps, bathed in the golden light of dawn, finally achieving the freedom he so desperately craved. Later, we see Winston and the Bowery King at John Wick's grave. It's a simple tombstone with 2 words, loving husband. This epitaph says everything, reminding us that at his core, John was just a man trying to grieve and find peace. The loyal dog, John's constant companion, sits faithfully by the grave, a silent guardian. The rustle of leaves in the wind and the soft whimpers of the dog are the only sounds, adding to the somber atmosphere. Winston and King reflect on John's life, his impact, and the peace he finally found. It's a poignant farewell to a legend, a reminder that even in a world of assassins, love and loyalty can define a man. His fight is over, but his legacy undoubtedly will live on. It's a quiet, reflective end to an explosive saga, leaving us with a lingering sense of both closure and melancholy. But wait, there's a little something extra for those who stick around. In a brief but impactful post-credit scene, we find Kane sitting at a cafe in a bustling marketplace, a quiet, almost reflective peace finally settling over him after the events of the duel. The ambient chatter of the crowd and the clinking of cups are all that break the quiet. He's finally free to be with his daughter, living the life he fought so desperately to protect. However, that peace is short-lived. Akira, Koji's daughter, who vowed revenge after Kane killed her father, is seen approaching him through the crowd. Her face is set with grim determination, a glint of steel in her hand, a knife, to be precise. The sound of her footsteps, though quiet, is purposeful, a relentless march towards her target. The scene cuts just as she's about to strike, leaving Kane completely unaware of his impending doom. It's a classic cliffhanger, a final, chilling reminder that in this world, even freedom comes with a price, and some vows of vengeance can never truly be broken. It leaves you wondering what comes next for Kane and if Akira will truly complete her mission. The whoosh of her final approach is the last sound we hear before the credits roll for good. So that's John Wick Chapter 4. A cinematic masterpiece of action, style, and relentless, glorious violence. It delivers everything you'd expect and more. A fitting, if heartbreaking, conclusion to one of the greatest action sagas of our time. It explores themes of loyalty, freedom, and the unyielding will to survive, even when all odds are against you. John Wick's journey reminds us that true strength isn't just about how hard you can fight, but how much you're willing to endure for what you believe in. His legacy will undoubtedly inspire generations of action filmmakers and dog lovers alike. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there in your own personal underworlds.